Hello, world. So I wanted to take just a few minutes to share a little bit about my experience with some of the new co-authors here in the VIRIVERSE for our Substack specifically, but also as hero guides in our membership and um, also just dear friends and good making people that I believe in a great deal. So how briefly I can do that, I don't know, because when I start talking about people that I love and am grateful for and believe in, we'll see. But um, yeah, there's a handful of us, and I guess I'm on this list too. I just realized, but I want to start with everybody else. First, our perennial mystic, aka Marley, who has been in my world for about a year. And she often says that we've found each other in this life from past lives, and the evidence continues to say, yeah, that's about right. We are definitely wolfkin of sorts, and greet each other as a sister and broski. And she is just such a magician. The wisdom in the space of self-love and the mystical energies that are moving around and how to navigate them. The ability to help us find healthier words to say to ourselves, to each other, to the world, are just truly magical. And she does things like virtual Reiki baths. She is now hosting grief circles in our community on an ongoing basis as well. And just so much more. I can't even put into words how timely her arrival in my life has been, and it has coincided with me doing some of the deepest and most transformational personal growth work and healing work that I've ever done. And that's Marley, our perennial mystic. And then we have our brightness and shadow embracer, often going by the brightness, but of course also known as Sabrina, who is one of our resident poets. And her poetry is incredibly like thought-provoking for me, and I kind of marvel at her ability um, to write from the perspective of others and from different characters and archetypes and um, to help me feel the emotions of a character through their lived experience while also kind of resonating with my own is really quite something. And the book of poetry that she's written and that we will be publishing on our altar market here at some point. Um, uh, I mean, her and I spent a couple hours like going through it and like reading it with me reacting, and it is some of the most memorable couple hours of my life. To experience her poetry is to experience like the epitome of art and authenticity. It's one of the most authentic collection of works that I've ever experienced, and um, yeah, I continue to learn a lot about myself through other characters and other people's experience, which is a beautiful thing. Um, and then we have our provocateur, also known as a beauty embracer, and some crazy sub ego with like three R's, like rambunctious, raging joy or something. I can't hold that one, but I love it. I love the energy of this dear, wonderful Paul of ours, um, who is another one of our poets. And his poetry is a mix of human nature, I would say. It really is like at the essence of human nature, and not just like human nature, but also humanity and nature. And the beautiful connection that we can have with travel um, and the beautiful places that exist in this world, both from a civilization standpoint and also, of course, Earth's beauty standpoint. Um, it's it's pretty magical. And when if you ever get the chance to actually hear Paul read, whether it be his poetry or the poetry of others, as our dear symbiotic Jose says, it's like, you just get lost in it, and you can just listen to it all day, and it's true. It is a beautiful thing. So that's Paul. Paul and Sabrina publish every week, as they rotate and do a dance of poetry across the VIRIVERSE every week. And then we have our Wide Open Sky, who is also known as Allie. And Allie is a community steward, connector, some really compelling things also in the space of like archetypal exploring, and she also is in service of wise people and good people doing good things, and has so many interesting things to share about her travels through um, kind of the like kindred communities that she frequents, and we're so grateful to be one of said communities. Um, yeah, I just went on a music round quest with Allie today that was spontaneous. It was her and I exchanged a couple of notes back and forth, and all of a sudden it was like, let's go on a quest today. And we pulled together a small group and listened to an emergence playlist that I had created, and had been working on. And we just had a 2 to 3 hour, like really deep experience with a number of wonderful people. Um, I don't know. Allie's just kind of like living and loving life, and it's such a wonder to be a part of and to share it with her. And then we have our burning bridge, also known as Sai, who is kind of blowing my mind with his writing style. There's something, I guess, maybe edgy about it, I guess, but also I'd just say honest and hyper like vulnerable in theory, right? Or as a distant observer, but also highly authentic, as he shares this idea of undomesticating, which aligns so much with what we do in the Viriverse through our alter ego work, right? Alter to the status quo ego work, that we do. So much about like unwinding our machine minds and status quo impressions and choosing who we are and stepping into our truth and being free. And there's some boldness and bravery in what it is that Sai is bringing out into the world. And his alter ego as a burning bridge is really interesting because there is some like burning of the bridge, a little bit, but it's more about like a bridge that is a light that people can cross, right? It's like walking through the fire of their lives, and into something, I guess, with a little bit of serenity on the other side, which is another kind of version of his alter ego work. Spicy serenity, which is wonderful. And I put a special shout out to Sai because he's hosting our Fun and Flow session on Thursday this week, and there's notes on how to join, uh, in the caption, and it is very much in the space of undomesticating. That is the title of the session, in fact. But I think the work that he's doing in the space of like our sexual energies and our kind of familial upbringing, and the way in which we interact with the world and spirit and such is really thought provoking. It's some of the most thought provoking work I've read in a long time. Um, so those are our five, and I'll mention myself briefly at the end as our designer, or my kind of alter ego, which is Spirited Serenity, which is a place I've arrived. This sense of tapping into self-actualization, and you can call it transcendence, I guess. Maybe it's transcending myself. Maybe it's transcending the hold that the machine world has had over me, or pain, even chronic pain. I've been in physical pain for 18 years and mental pain for 36, for sure, which is my age here on this earth, um, as this life presents anyway. Um, I've moved through a lot of inner turmoil and conflict, and I've moved from a kind of continuous struggle with the way in which humans present themselves and show up in the world, the invasive nature we are to our Earth. And I've moved into a place of love. I'm like falling in love with humanity again because I'm finding unconditional love for myself and all of the people that I have found along that journey that I have grown to love and that love me have brought such healing to me. And it's long overdue time that I start to share my story with the world. Because I think everybody's story is worthy of a book. It's worthy of being shared because we all have something incredible to teach the world through our lived experience. All of us, every single one of us. And so I guess I want to be an example for just doing that, right? It's not the story, it's a story amongst a pretty beautiful and wild, crazy, chaotic sort of humanity that we live in. And no, it's not lost on me that I just said I'm falling in love with humanity at this time, in this moment, where there's a lot of things about us that are not super great, that are not rooted in a whole lot of great love, at least not collective love. And that is the power of the work we're doing together, the power of the alter ego, and the power really of just having community of kindred people that you connect with and can practice, a sacred way of life, I suppose. Um, it has me seeing all of the good and the hope that exists in this world and makes it a lot more manageable to stand up to the things that are not so great, that need to be stood up to. So I'm going to start sharing my story a little bit more out in the public world. I've always done it in a inner circle and kind of like in a wolf pack mentality, I guess. And I'm excited to be boldly going out into the world bravely with my story. As scary as that is, even though I've always been one to talk about my life with everybody I've ever met. So I might as well be sharing it out the wider world as well. So with that, thank you for meeting these wonderful people and cannot wait for you to read their work, spend time with them. Those invitations will be there. And with that, thanks for hanging out in the Viriverse, and we'll see you out there.